You. Raymond,
All right.
you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. All right, thank you, Nina. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the SOAR series. For the creative sector. This is going to be the first of many series throughout the entire month of July. So we are taking the ball rolling, and thank you guys again for joining us. So quickly, we have with us Jennifer and Dimeji, but we are going to do a quick introduction so that we brief you guys more about this series and about ourselves, and we get the ball rolling also. Dimeji, can you please introduce yourself?
I think ladies should go first in this case.
Okay, fair point. Ladies first.
I think the guy should go first. I don't know why he brought it to me, but that's fine. I'll go.
Okay.
Yeah, my name is Onyekwelu Jennifer, also known as Jennifer. I'm an entrepreneur, a content creator, and an influencer. I'm an Eagle, obviously from Providence University. I graduated in the 2020 set, What Changer set. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Dimeji, you may now go.
My name is Dimeji Fadesere. I am a brand storyteller. Essentially, my whole job is to help companies sell what they want to sell in a way that doesn't feel too stiff, but also is engaging enough people to want to buy and patronize through social media and digital in general. Graduated from the 2018 set, the Regal set, studied architecture, and it's nice to be here.
All right, thank you, Dimeji. Marketing, brand, and communications professional. Basically finished school Covenant in 2017 from the Department of Marketing. First, I actually wanted to run it from marketing though, but somehow life threw me back into the curve, and I found myself doing the same thing, and all those type of things. So currently, I've worked in healthcare space, from brand development, brand management, communications, marketing strategy, marketing campaigns, and the likes. Currently, I'm the head of marketing for AB Microfinance Bank. So, as Dimeji said, ladies first again. So we'll just delve right into the question. So Jennifer, why should we consider building a career or a business in the creative subsector? Do you have any insights as to, this? Hello, Jennifer. Okay, while we're waiting for Jennifer, Dimeji, please, can you let us know why should we consider building a career or a business in this creative subsector that is content creation?
Yeah. So I think it goes back to how we want to look at what content creation is. I think when we are talking about content creation, there's this temptation to see it as ring lights, turning your iPhone camera to the back, and then sitting down and then recording yourself and posting to IG or TikTok. And yeah, that actually is content. That actually is being a content creator. But I feel like a lot of people see that and think that is what they have to fit into if they want to decide that, oh, I want to go into content, I want to be a content creator. But I feel like a more sustainable definition is content is anything that you are saying or doing on a particular platform. If you said something somewhere, whether it is IG, whether it is Twitter, whether it is Medium, whether it is Pinterest, you have created content essentially. Content creators in quotes are just the people who do it for profit, who do it professionally to make money, who make money from the things they say and how they say it. So I feel if, at the very least, it is a profession on itself. If you are someone who is into expressing yourself, if you are someone who wants to make money from how you think or what you want to say or the message you feel you have to put out in a particular space, then yeah, content creation is a very effective tool to live out that particular ambition and get paid to do it. So another thing is, I usually like to say is that your content is your best first CV. People will want to hire you from your content alone based on what they see that you can do. Like, it is a practical example of a skill set that you have in a particular industry or niche or whatever it is that you are trying to communicate. There are times where I have gotten jobs that I did not apply for because somebody saw the content I did and said, oh, this guy can do something like this. Come and do it in our company, come and do it with our brand or something like that. And it has happened not just to me, but to many other people. There are so many famous examples of people who have been able to take what they've just done on the side, get attention from that content and translate it into something a lot bigger. So I feel if you have something worth saying and you have a way you want to say it, or you just want to make money in the creative sector and attract rather than chase the job or the ambition that you want, content is a very, very good way to start that.
Thank you very much for that, Dimeji. I feel like, yeah, you can also even do both. Like if you have it then as a passion, you can also turn it to a, money-making venture on the side for you and say that, okay, this is how you express yourself via your content and all that, that type of thing, managing both. Thank you, Dimeji, for that. Jennifer, are you back with us?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Jennifer. So, the question is that why should we consider building a career or a business in this creative subsector that is in the content creation aspect of the creative side? Why should we consider building a career?
Okay. Firstly, I would always say that content creating is bringing out the ideas in your head, in a written or visual representation to show people. It's like content creating is giving out free and valuable information to people. It can be about yourself, about what you do, about a brand, depending on what you're putting out your content for. And we live in a world or in a society where literally everybody is on social media. Literally everybody is on social media. People wake up and then they pick up their phone first. You want to check what is happening on social media, what is trending on social media. I feel like that's actually a very big avenue to put out content. It can be about yourself. It can be you are a brand on your own, so you can be selling yourself. It can be you trying to sell a brand. It can be you trying to talk about something, talk about things happening in the society, talk about a particular brand, talk about a particular product. It can be you doing your thing. It could be fashion content. It could be lifestyle. It could be you dancing. One way or the other, there are people who would definitely watch. So everything depends on what you are actually selling. So in the society we live in, I feel like it's very, very important. I feel like social media is very important for everybody. So since everybody is on social media, content creating is very, very important because through content creating, we can actually reach a very common goal, which is for brands, we can reach brand publicity, brand visibility, and proper marketing. Because I studied industrial relations and human resource management. So I know that content creating actually plays a big role in brand marketing. So I am a brand on my own, and I also help advertise for brands too. So one way or the other, we have to make engaging content that when people watch, they enjoy it and they always want to come back. Content that when people watch, they remember, oh, I watched this on Jenny Frank's page. Oh, this is the brand that Jenny Frank is talking about. Content that when people watch and they want to use the skincare product, they remember that, oh, that there's a product that Jenny Frank advertised. I love the way she advertised it. I know that, okay, if Jenny Frank can advertise this product, then meaning that it's a good product. Do you understand? So for me, I feel like content creating is bringing out valuable ideas to people and also ensuring that the people you bring out your content to, they definitely trust you for every single thing you say. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Jennifer, for that. You mostly emphasized on brand. I'll just speak on that a bit because every branch is unique to each company. So if you are doing a brand for if you are doing a content, rather, if you are creating content for, let's say, there's this bitter stuff that all these people at the garage drink, for those target audience of CD, those people that are, in the garage, or market women, or those type of people, and you are creating content for people at section A or B of the market, you will see that the two contents you are going to be creating, they have different brands, meaning that they have two distinct audiences. And that means that you have to the way and manner which you speak, the design, the look and feel that you are going of the content that you are going to create for both distinct brands should really come out, should really be alive, should also be identifiable and be relatable to those segments. So you have to think of all of that in creating content for a particular type of brand. So basically, you have to understand the brand guidelines because every brand comes with their own guidelines. So thank you. So before we move to the next question, if you have any question or you have something at the back of your mind as regards content creation, please drop it in the chat section, and they'll be able to pick it up from there, and we'll answer that during the Q&A section. So Dimeji, what encouraged you to venture into the content creation world? Can you please give us the background gist?
The background gist. So it's a very winding story. I think it was about 3 years ago. I can't forget because it was the first day of the year, 2020, January 1st. Everybody at that point in time, as usual, every year was doing their New Year's resolutions. They were sharing it on Instagram, on Twitter, on their stories and everything. And I've never really been a New Year's resolution guy. I don't know whether it feels stressful or it doesn't always pan out for me, but I just never really tried to do it. But that day, the FOMO was a lot, and I was like, okay, me too, let me just do my own New Year's resolutions. Let me analyze the year before this and see what I can take out of it. And it was, as I was doing that, I wrote it in my phone notepad first, and I got a lot of stuff. But then at a point, it was like, I have all this stuff, and it actually makes sense to read. So I just leave it in my notepad where it will be there till the end of the year, or it's only me that can see it. I think this thing might actually be able to benefit another person somewhere. And then I decided to post it on Instagram. But then I'm like, I can't just take a screenshot and post it. Let me try and design it up a little bit. Let me use Canva or something to make it look a bit better, and then post it on my Instagram. And then I remember the feeling. Immediately I finished designing it, immediately I posted it, and immediately people started giving me their feedback on it. It was this kind of fulfillment that I had not felt in a lot of other things that I had, and I've done a lot of different things because I'm the kind of person that has a lot of interest, a lot of passions. But the day I did this, the day I felt like, oh, I said something and it actually influenced other people in a positive way, it felt good. It felt very good to do. Very fulfilling is not really the best word, but that's the word that I can find at this point in time. It felt like, okay, I want to do more of this. And since then, I just decided, okay, whenever I have a free chance, whenever I have free time, I'm going to find a way to pen down my thoughts. It can be about anything. I will just share that on Instagram, which is what I was using at the time. And it was gradually, as I was sharing like that broad spectrum of thoughts, that I started becoming more and more narrow. I started finding my voice a bit more. I started knowing exactly what I wanted to say, who I wanted to say it to, how I wanted to say it. And then it was that whole thing that sort of streamlined into, okay, this is my career now. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to say and how I want to say it. It took a long time to get to that point. At first, there was just a lot of stumbling, a lot of me saying things that didn't really make sense. But after that, after a lot of that trial and error, and this is something that I feel when people come to me with issues with having a lot of things they want to do or having a lot of talents, I feel like sometimes there's this tendency to think, oh, if I just go to one mountain and sit down and meditate for like 3 days straight, I'll be able to find that exact thing I want to do. I'll be able to, everything will just click, and then I'll just start making progress. I feel like what actually happens more of the time is that you have to go through a sequence of trial and error. You have to try this. No, I don't like that. I like this, but I will do it this way to feel a bit better. And you have to constantly follow that feeling of fulfillment or satisfaction. At least that's what I did in my case, until I found exactly, oh, this is the thing. This is what I wanted to say all along. This is what I wanted to do. But I had to find a way to trust that feeling from the beginning. So that's what I did on that first day of 2020, all the way through to what I'm doing now. So yeah, that's basically the gist of it, just following my sense of fulfillment to get here.
Well, I mean, thank you, Dimeji. I mean, that was literally spot on. I believe there's a pathway, to all of these things. You start from there's an idea, there's a spark, and then you just want to build on it. Then, like you said, you start finding your voice one way or the other until you get to, I'll just say the promised land where you eventually want to get, or basically where God is taking you to. I don't know, but yeah, that's really great, Dimeji. So I'll just go to Jennifer. Jennifer, what encouraged you to venture into the content creation world? To the background, just basically.
Okay, I've actually always been that girl that loves being in front of the camera. I love entertaining people one way or the other. And I can remember as of when I was in Covenant University, I would always shoot dance videos and post on my Instagram. I would always go for photo shoots because I was a model as of then, go for photo shoots, post on Instagram. So it was just my thing. But the problem as of then was that I couldn't shoot and edit my videos myself. And then I can remember when I bring that up to videographers, okay, I wanted to shoot this video, they charged a ridiculous amount of money. So I'm like, you know what? I need to learn this myself. And that was when TikTok came in for me. I started TikTok in Covenant University, and I started while I was in my father's house. I was at home, and then I just picked up my phone, and then I downloaded the TikTok app, and then I just started shooting TikTok. I can remember when I came back to school, some students, they walk up to me and they're like, I love what you're doing, keep it up. And then I'm like, oh, they're actually watching me. Wow, that's cool. For people to walk up to me and tell me that they like what I'm doing. So that was like a motivation for me, because if it's something I know that Covenant University students are very, very supportive to their kind, to their people. So I was very happy that, okay, some of them, they reached out to me, even though some people, they still don't get the whole idea of what I was trying to do. And the truth is that for me, I was just in it for the fact that I loved being in front of the camera. I love what I was doing. So it wasn't in any way, I didn't plan on monetizing my content at that point in time. It was just for the fun of it. So, but then I remember before my final year, I hit 200,000 followers on TikTok. And then it wasn't still giving what I was expecting from it at that point in time. But then, luckily for me, during the lockdown, that was when everything was all out there for me. That was when TikTok was everywhere. That was when people started hearing Jenny Frank this, Jenny Frank that. I want to work with her. I want to work with her. And then it was a big deal for me, because at that point it was too much for me to handle, because I was expecting it, but not at that time. So it was kind of a lot for me. But if it's something I always try to enjoy the process. So I was able to continue, take advice from people in the industry already. And then, I've made mistakes too, but then that's fine. Mistakes are meant to be made. But at the end of the day, content creating is something I've always loved doing, directly or indirectly. I always find myself shooting content everywhere. If I travel, everything is content for me. I'm waking up, everything is content for me one way or the other. It can be posted on TikTok, it can be posted on YouTube, it can be posted on Instagram, it can be posted on Facebook. So everything is content for me. That was how content creating started for me, and I'm literally enjoying the process. And there's always room for transition and growth.
Thank you for that, Jennifer. That's actually really interesting. Going back to the days of covenant investing, can be really tricky though, because let me put this up. Yeah, it can be really tricky though, because there were some sort of restrictions. Then you had you had assignments, you had projects and the likes, as other responsibilities. Like for me, chapel and my own department, because I was like the vice president of the department. So, doing all of that and managing all of that in community university, I actually give you guys kudos that started back then. But yeah, cool. So next question is going to be Dimeji. With the world constantly changing and the technology world upgrading every second, what do you think will be the future of content creation, like in the next 5 to 10 years? Please just help us with that.
I think in the next 5 to 10 years, somebody saying, I want to be a content creator is likely to be less scary to their family members than it is now, or than it was back in the day. Because I feel like content is slowly, because if somebody, I remember what I actually had to face when I was telling people that, oh, I don't want to practice architecture because I'm doing content. And they look at you like, why did you spend all those years doing that only to come and be talking on the internet? And because they didn't see that, oh, there was the potential for financial gain or for all these things. Even me myself, back then, I wasn't fully sure of that. I just, like I said, I was chasing that feeling of fulfillment, that this is what I want to do. And it's like, over time, even just in the last 3 years, I feel like we've seen how content creation has become a lot more mainstream. More people are joining the content creation ranks. More people are making their full-time, like 5 or 10 people's full-time living from content creation. And it's getting to that point where I feel in 5 or 10 years, it is going to be less scary to say, oh, I want to venture into the content. I want to do this kind of thing. I mean, I don't think it will ever not be risky, because there's a lot of things you have to do. There's a lot of hoops you have to jump through. But I feel like, yeah, it's going to be a lot more accessible to people, and a lot more accepted as a whole different career approach in 5 to 10 years time. So, which is why the people that are adopting it now, or started adopting it even a few years ago, are going to be like very pivotal at that particular point in time, because this is not going down anytime soon. Threads just opened today, more platforms are coming. So it's like, the more content creators they are, these platforms literally want you there so you can build their audience, and they are willing to pay you to be there a lot of the time. So there are a lot of benefits to content just besides the platform paying you. And I feel like this is going to stay the norm for a long time, deep into the future. So yeah, in 5 to 10 years time, it should be more mainstream.
Thank you, Dimeji. Just to add a little to what Dimeji said, in finance, they will say cash is king, but in marketing, you say content is actually king, because whatever the platform you're using, be it Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, they need you, they need your content. That is why you see Instagram always shoving reels in your face, and the likes. And I think recently Elon Musk, I think when he said he budgeted $5 million, to pay content creators that are willing to, also add Twitter to the list of, their content platforms. And I think that was actually a big move for Twitter, to budget that amount of money to pay to content creators. So that's actually big money. So like Dimeji said, in the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to be mainstream. Okay, Jennifer, what are your thoughts? Content creation in the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay, I actually support everything he said. He said my mind, but I'm just going to buttress on his points a bit. For me, new content creators arise every day, more creative people every day. And like I said, there's always room for growth and transition. A content creator today might be a movie producer tomorrow, can be something more advanced than a content creator. People are allowed to grow. And for me, what he said made a lot of sense to me, because content creation today can be the mainstream tomorrow. I mean, back in the days, I'm sure I don't think content creating was a thing back then. I'm sure if I had mentioned it to my parents, they'll be like, what's that? Even as of when I started, it wasn't really, they were not really taking that then. Exactly. It wasn't really making sense to them. But now, content creating is people's full-time job. If not for anything, I know that content creating has actually provided employment opportunity to a lot of people. A lot of brands pay these content creators and influencers to put out their products there. And aside from brands even paying these content creators, people learn from social media. People have learned a lot of things, maybe how to cook, how to do this, how to do that. So whatever content creating is now, I feel like it's going to be way more advanced in the next 5 to 10 years. Literally everything will be happening on social media. New social media, they come out every day. I think one even came out today or yesterday actually. So for me, I feel like social media is a thing now. I think it's here to stay for me. So people are going to keep creating content. More content creators will keep coming out. People will keep getting creative and innovative with their content. So brands would definitely keep reaching out. So for me, this is a very, very huge and big investment.
All right, thank you, Jennifer, for that. When you were talking, you also made me remember some things. Because I know some people were saying that people that the place is already becoming too crowded, but I actually do not believe that. I believe that everyone has their own unique way, their own niche of doing things. So you can come into the content creation space, and then you are a lifestyle influencer. You can come and be a tech content creator, like the likes of Mr. Key, Fisayo Fusudo, Mr. Beast, and MKBHD. Those type the tech, you can move into, ones that are into fashion, the other ones are into, different. There are different careers that you can go to as a content creator. So you should not be scared about, also entering into that space. So I'll go into the next question, Dimeji. With the sometimes there is a thin line between a content creator and maintaining your private life. How have you been able to separate both, and how does one draw the boundary? It's a very funny question, but okay, Dimeji.
Sorry to disappoint on this question, but I feel like personally, I have not really faced that problem. And I feel like I've not faced that problem because my content doesn't particularly come from my life. I know there are a lot of people who take from their lives, they extract it, they enhance it a bit, and they use it as content. But my content has always come from my why, in quotes, like what is in a way my mission statement. What am I doing on whatever platform I'm on? When I understood what it is I wanted to do on Instagram, and when things started moving, my goal then was to be a storyteller that taught people brand storytelling online. So it was me posting content about brand storytelling in a way that was interesting, in a way that was relatable, in a way that was fun, yeah, and qualifies as engaging content, but it wasn't coming from my own personal life. I wasn't posting what happened to me last year when I got into this accident or anything like that. But I was also still able to see traction. So I think that if somebody is trying to protect themselves, and that's this thing that I've actually seen in a lot of my friends, in a lot of other people I know who do content, there's a tendency for people to see your posts and think that they know you, and they have a right to your life, in quotes. And I feel like one of the things that can protect other people from that kind of thing is if you don't have to focus on yourself, focus your messaging on the problem that you are generally trying to solve. That problem doesn't have to be that deep as, oh, I'm curing cancer, I'm doing something. It can be just like making people laugh, and you just find different ways to do that. That is a valuable solution to a problem. It can be that you want to show people your fashion designs. That is a solution to a problem. So just if you focus more on the problem you are trying to solve, it tends to dwell less on your own personal life. But granted, there are also a lot of creators who their content is from their personal life. It is from where they went to, it is from what they did, it's from what they ate and who they saw. For that one, I'm not sure how to answer it. I think Jenny might be in a better position than me, but because of the way my content was structured, I just always focused it on my positioning rather than myself.
Okay, great. Thank you, Dimeji, for that. Jennifer, please can you help us out with that question?
Okay, so when you talk about my private life, I don't know the aspect you're talking about, but personally for me, I feel like it's intentionality. Why I say that is because everything is based off on what you post and things you put out for people to see. I am not the kind of person that loves to put out my private life. I know, yes, I said earlier that literally everything is content for me. Yes, you can see what I eat, but you cannot know where I went to. Do you understand? So for me, it's being intentional about the kind of content you put out, when you put them out, and how you put them out. I don't like my private life out there, but sometimes for me in this industry, even if you don't want to put out your private life, one way or the other, people get to do that for you. For example, once your business is out there, it's literally everybody's business. So imagine as a public figure, maybe you step out, you want to go to the supermarket to get one or two things, and then people just start recording. And maybe you went there with someone that maybe you don't even want to put out there on social media. And then it's on social media, people start making assumptions of what is not there and what is there. So sometimes I feel like it's just being very, very intentional about yourself, where you go, how you go there, things you post, things you are not supposed to post. But so for me, I just feel like it's intentionality. I'm not the kind of person that would love to put my private life out there. It's not my thing, because I just put out what I want you to see. So I just put out the little I want you to see. So whatever you see, it doesn't mean that you know me fully. It's just a bit of my lifestyle, and then that's it. I'm fine.
What you want them to know.
Exactly. It's not, I don't put out my life out there. I just give you what I want you to know, and then that's fine with me. Although people get to assume a lot from it, but it's still fine.
Yeah, you don't need to feel them. Thank you, Jennifer. Well, basically what I would just say, for an upcoming content creator, first, when you've dedicated your page to a certain type of niche, of niche that you're trying to carve, and you look at it and be like, okay, do you want your private or your personal life or your personal life to be on that space? If you don't want, you don't have to start posting things like your boyfriend's birthday, your dog's anniversary, your father's. You don't need to do all of that. You just, like Dimeji said, stick to the script. Just show them what you want to show them. You don't need to go live when you go to a restaurant and let people know where you are. I mean, for security's sake, you don't need to do all of that. Basically, there should be a distinct separation between how you live your life and that is in your private stroke personal space and your content creation work. And if you do at any time want to introduce your personal life into your content creation space, like there are several content creators that do that. You see, like maybe Maraji, like she'll show her husband, but then she might only show the back of his head, or she might show that, okay, the child, but then she might not really show his full face. So, but it's tricky. It just depends on what you want people to know. Like Jenny said, what do you want them to know? Do you want them to know the full thing? Do you want them to know the full thing? And then just separate both of them based on those two distinct categories. So next question: what does one need to do to stay relevant in the content creation space? Dimeji, please help us. What do you need to do to stay relevant in the content creation space?
Okay. I feel like the way I'm going to, okay, can I ask for an interpretation of relevance before I give my own interpretation of relevance?
Fair point. So what do you need to stay relevant? Like in terms of what's the word? That is, how can it be up to date? That is, now that we are in the age of AI, we are in the age of new platforms, what do I need to do in that to stay relevant with all those new developments coming in that content creation space? If not, I'll be phased out. I will give an example, like you doing let's say you're a tech content creator, and then you are sticking to using lesser models, or you're using lesser equipment, to shoot those content, something like that.
Okay, that's the thing. I feel like if you want to stay relevant and if you want to grow as a content creator, you need a combination of two very strong things that I feel like every content creator has at one point or the other. That's consistency and analytical thinking. So you need to, I feel like content creation is not nearly as creative as people think it has to be. You don't have to be an artsy person. You don't have to always have the best ideas. You just need to be actively consistent. And I say actively because I feel like there's a difference between being actively consistent and passively consistent. I've seen two of them. I've seen people who post every day, but they're not really thinking about it. I've been those people. They just find something to say, post it, or find something to do, post it, and then you come back the next day. And there's less of a chance for those people to grow than other people who are actively consistent. People who, as they are posting, they are very aware of what they are posting. They are very aware of the results that what they are posting got, and they're already thinking about how to tweak it or build on that results on the next post, let's say the next day or something like that. And I haven't seen a person in my own personal journey, whether my friends or people I know indirectly, who has been actively consistent and did not grow in one way, shape, or form, whether they only grew to 10K from 2K, whether they only grew to 200K from 200 followers. Everybody that I've seen that has been actively consistent with whatever they are doing regarding content has leveled up continuously over time. And it's not even a thing where, people think you have to be creative to figure out the correct things that will work at a particular point in time. But I feel like being actively consistent is like, again, that trial and error. You do enough things enough times with enough uncertainty or consistency that you can see you literally exhaust all the wrong answers, and you are now starting to find, okay, this is what people liked this day. Let me try it with that other thing that people liked that other day. And that brings me to another thing. I don't think you need as much as you think to be a content creator. I started what I was doing with, no, let me save this for later. I don't want to say it now. But yeah, I feel like you need a combination of those two things, consistency and analytical thinking. Continually be active about what you are doing and do it consistently. You need to, if you just do one, it's not going to give you the effect you want. So you need to be continuous about it, find the mistakes, and then fix them one way or the other, you are going to grow. It's not as much creativity as it is the discipline. Where I got my own stride was where I vexed one day and said, you know what, everybody has been shouting IG guru, post every day. I'm going to post for 90 days and I will just see what happens. That was what leveled me up in a way that I started getting inquiries, or how did you do this, or how did you grow, and things like that. So yeah, combination of those two things, I've not seen it go wrong personally.
All right, thank you so much, Dimeji, for that. Very two key things. Your analytical skill and active consistency. Both are really key, to stay relevant. And about being analytical, it even works across different spaces in the creative sector. You should, watch your impressions. What do your audience like? The content that your audience engages more. Those type of things are going to keep your brain. Okay, should I keep doing this? How am I going to spin this the next time I'm creating such type of content? Why do they enjoy this? Why do they enjoy this? And active consistency. That's really, really wonderful. Jennifer, what about you? Your opinion?
For me, I would say consistency. You already mentioned that, obviously. I would say consistency, being able to adjust and readjust. That's very, very important for me, because on social media, people get tired of one particular thing easily. And now this is where creativity comes in for me. If you're doing one particular thing and you notice that your audience, they're not engaging any longer like they used to do, I feel like it's up to you to find out what exactly the problem is, adjust and readjust. Creativity to me is also very, very important, because I feel like you might be posting consistently, and if you're not creative about what you're posting, it's also a problem for me, because if you keep posting something consistently, doesn't mean that the people you're putting it out for, that they like it or they are accepting it. So it is left for you to figure out the problem, be creative with what you post. People get bored easily on social media. People don't even read on social media. People just want to watch videos and move on. So the only reason why you don't keep them watching the video is if the video is creative and engaging, if you should capture their audience from the first to 10 seconds that they watch the video. So for me, I feel like creativity plays a very huge role. I mean, that's definitely what is going to sustain them to keep watching the video, to find out how the video ends. Do you understand? And being able to adjust and readjust as a content creator, to me, is very, very important, because you can't dwell in the same space all the time. You have to think outside the box. You have to do things outside the box. You have to leave your comfort zone. If you keep doing the same thing all the time, people would leave you and go ahead. So to me, I feel like being consistent is very important. Being able to adjust and readjust is very, very important. Creativity is very important. And being unique in your own way is also very important. That's it for me.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Fact about creativity and being able to adjust, because there was this content creator. I don't know if you guys know him, but he does this thing where he does this thing like Abegetajo, and I'm like, okay, maybe the first few times it was interesting, but I mean at the point I'm like, oh god, not this again, and all of those type of things. So like Jenny said, being able to adjust, readjust when you see the content is not being taken again, and people nowadays have really, really low attention span. Emphasis on the really low, because they just want to just see something and reach through. So before we take things, questions in the chat, we'll just ask one question, and then we'll hand over to Inina to help with the questions. So can you share at least 3 to 4 tools, that is software and hardware, that you work with when creating content, and your reasons for using these specific tools? I believe this will help the emerging content creators in this meeting. Dimeji, please.
Okay. My own personal things that I use, there are a lot, so I'm trying to even think of which 3 I will now. First, like, for me, I feel like my laptop is, I don't want to answer the question this way, because if I answer this question this way, people will think, oh, I need a laptop to do content. I feel like if you're trying to do content, the 3 things that you need more than anything base are your phone, Wi-Fi, and whatever platform you want to use to say whatever it is you want to say. Like, I even wanted to say that time when I was starting content, I started everything I was doing with an Infinix phone that used to hang and get hot, and it was very annoying, but I found a way to use that to tell whatever story I wanted to say with Canva or whatever, post it online. And it was the traction I got from that got me lighting. It was the traction I got from the phone and the lighting that got me a new laptop. It was the traction I got from the laptop and the phone that got me a camera. It was the traction I got from all those three that now got me the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So I feel like you can use whatever you have now. As long as you have internet, you have a phone, and you have Wi-Fi, you are good. I feel like even if you don't have equipment, this is another thing. I feel like you have to believe that on some level, this is another reason where creativity has to come in. You have to believe that on some level, what you have now is enough for you. Like if you look at Kabi is the most followed guy on TikTok. Kabi now is posting videos from stadiums with Ronaldo, with all these different people. Kabi started in his house. The house was not that fine, but he was posting videos anyway. He didn't even say anything. He was just reacting, and then he got traction that way. If you're a drummer, you don't have drum sets, I feel personally, go and carry wooden spoons from your kitchen, go and carry pots and frying pan, and go and set up everything in your mother's kitchen or something and call yourself #kitchen drummer. And you will get, I feel like you will even get more traction than a regular drummer because it is unique and you did not spend nearly as much on a big drum sets. If you see the things that are trending on TikTok, it's always those low quality videos. Like people don't care how your setup is. If you are providing something that is valuable, either is entertaining, is funny, is educational, people will meet with you where you are. And then from there, you can now start to level up gradually to get to wherever it is you want to be. So it's like, yeah, if you have a phone, if you have Wi-Fi, and you have whatever platform you want to use, and along with that, they believe that what you have now is enough, then yeah, I feel like you should be good. Even what I have now is not what I ideally would like to end with, but I know that these things, if I use them well, there's a way I can use them that I can get to the next stage of equipment or the next things I want to get. So I feel like that quality has helped me to not stay limited. If I had said, oh, I don't have laptop and I don't have lighting setup, let me just wait until I have saved like 1 million, 2 million, 3 million before I now start. You can do that. You now start and you figure out that you have no idea what people want to see. So starting where you are with the audience you have and the equipment you have lets you do a lot of trial and error. Trial and error is very, very huge because you need to see what people like, what they don't like, and adjust and adjust. And then as you're adjusting your equipment. So not that you get to a point where you've spent millions and then now nobody's engaging with your content. That is what you don't want to happen. So I feel start from where you are with the belief that where you are is enough. And then, yeah, you'll gradually scale up.
Thank you so much for that, Dimeji. That is actually very, very key. Wi-Fi, oh my God. You used to have like 2 or 3 hotspots because MTN will mess you up. And I'm not even joking. But yeah, there's that. And with what, Dimeji also said by, just starting, just do something. The Bible says something like that in the book of Habakkuk that after just write the vision, make it plain on the tables, and then you run with it. Just start from small, just write something and, run with it. Jennifer, can you help us share the tools that you use, software and hardware?
Okay, so I'm just going to mention a few. Obviously, it's very important that you have a phone. That's very, very important. A phone, it's very portable. You can carry it anywhere. You can shoot anywhere without anybody trying to stop you that, oh, you're trying to do a professional video. You're not allowed to shoot here. I mean, with your phone, you can shoot everywhere. You can vlog for YouTube. You can shoot random Instagram content. You can shoot TikTok content. And aside from having a phone, lighting is very, very important too, because without lighting, your videos might not really come out properly. So for me, lighting is very, very important. You can have the portable light. Some people, you can get a ring light. You can have a LED light. And I also have a laptop. Obviously, in the laptop, I have a Premiere Pro that I use to edit when I want my video to look very professional. And I have a camera too. And then aside from that, I'm actually going to buttress what he said earlier. For me, I would always say this to a lot of content creators because sometimes I hear people say, oh, that I need to get a camera, I need to get this, but you have a phone. I would always say this to people: use what you have to get what you want. Use what you have at that point in time. Sometimes I've seen people shoot with a phone, and then you ask them, did you shoot this with a professional camera? I feel like if you have a phone, you can build a lot around it. You can make money from it and then get what you want. So I would always say this to people: use what you have now to get what you want later. It's that simple. Invest in your phone now and then get enough money to get yourself a professional camera and the laptop if you need one, and other things you would need. But for me, I would always say use what you have now. You can't be looking at the fact that, oh, I want a camera, so you're not shooting content, you're just there because you want a camera. If you want a camera, you have to work towards that. Use what you have to get what you want later.
Thank you very much for that, Jennifer. Using what you have to get what you want. When there was this startup, that I joined in 2020, and I was building the marketing department for them. So it's quite tricky, because getting management to approve money for marketing spend. Oh my God, it is headache. But so we had to start with like an iPhone 12 at the time. I think we bought it for around 300, 400, as opposed to buying an actual standard Sony camera, Sony AX2. I think that was what we later bought after 2 years. So we started with that. But if you see those videos on Instagram, you would never believe that it was shot with an iPhone. Like it was standard. That's between starting as little as the phone, and then you'll be good. As with lighting, they are selling lighting for 5K, LED lights on Jumia or what? Yeah. So, Nina, please, can we delve right into the questions?
Okay, so we have one question. It's from Shay. For someone who is interested in monetizing their content, what platform, from your experience, pays more?
Okay. I'll direct that question to Jennifer. Jennifer, please, can you help us answer?
Okay. I would actually recommend Facebook and YouTube. They pay more for if you want the app to definitely pay you, then I would recommend Facebook and YouTube. But regardless, you can monetize from other platforms, in the sense that brands can reach out to you because they want you to advertise on Instagram. They want you to advertise on TikTok. I mean those platforms, they don't pay creators in Nigeria yet, but you can also make money from there by advertising for brands. But if you mean from the app itself, I would recommend Facebook and YouTube because they obviously pay their creators in dollars.
Wow, I never knew Facebook paid. I just thought only YouTube. So I said, Dimeji, what did you think, about monetization?
I feel like what she said actually is very valid. YouTube actually pays well. I feel like if you want to, there's so many. That's another thing I really like about content. There's so many ways that you can make money from it. Brands could come and pay you to sponsor a product or something. The platform itself could pay you to do something. People could come and offer you jobs. But also another thing is you can monetize your knowledge. So for instance, like I said, I had a problem solving niche that I want to solve this. I want to show people how to do this kind of thing because I had knowledge in that thing. And I wanted to share that thing with other people who didn't necessarily know how to do that particular thing. How do you communicate as a business and people will buy your product, people will listen to you, especially when everywhere feels so saturated. So I now decided, okay, I wasn't big enough then. I think I still had about 3,000 or 4,000 followers. I wasn't big enough that, not that you can't get brand sponsorships at any size, but I wasn't big enough that I was getting a sustainable source of income because of my community size. But I was big enough that people had come to ask me a few times, how do I do this thing? You seem to know how to do this thing, based on, like I said, my first best CV, which was my content at the time. And it was like, okay, enough people have asked me this thing, that let me just fashion a makeshift course, something that will package everything I know into an ebook or into a webinar or into a something, and just put it out there for people to see. I first started So when you're doing things like this, you don't want to spend a lot of time planning this thing, and then you see that people don't actually want whatever it is you're offering. So what I started with was like an MVP, like a minimum viable product. What do people actually like? So I made a free consultation service, scheduled it on Calendly, and put it on my Instagram bio and told people, oh, you've been asking me a lot of questions. If you want me to answer them for free for like 15 minutes, go and click the link below and schedule a session. And people started talking to me. And after enough people had clicked, and I was seeing that, oh, almost every day of the week, I have multiple people waiting to talk to me about this kind of thing. I knew that, okay, this is the kind of thing people like, especially from my conversations with them. This is the problem that all of them seem to have. You know, take all of that and say, you know what, let me make this a course that you pay for. So now when you now make that thing, you've actually seen true problems that these people have because you've conversed with them and you have knowledge on this particular thing. So when you now come on your page and say, you guys come and pay 10K, 20K, 50K for this particular package solution that will help you in your business, people are more likely to say yes. So for me, I was making money from whenever brands reached out, and also from my knowledge that I had packaged into digital products at the time, ebooks, courses that are still paying me till today, because all of that is, so people will go, as I'm growing, they just see, oh, what's this thing in this guy's bio? Oh, he has something like this, I'm going to buy it. And so even if I don't make content like that again, I've not made content like that in like 1 or 2 years, people are still buying it. So it's like there are so many ways you can monetize social media that what you need first is attention. If you have attention, you can do anything you want with it. You can, that attention is what the platforms are paying you for. YouTube has seen that you have 1 million views, so they pay you based on that. That attention is what other brands are paying you for. Brands have seen that you have 200,000 followers. That's why the pay is different based on how many followers you have. So attention essentially is what you want to chase more than anything else. Even if it takes you a long time to build that attention, even if you don't charge anybody money while you are building that attention, once you have that attention, you are golden. When Hilda Abasi was doing this Cocathon thing, I saw one tweet that one guy was saying, oh, they're not even paying her money for this and it's just for clout. I'm like, before, like what, like the whole point of this thing was for her to generate enough noise. And once she has that noise in her hand, she's set for the rest of her life. Brands, I've not, there's not been any day I've been scrolling Instagram that I've not seen her on one panel session or on this thing. Brands will pay her for that. Brands have paid for image rights and all these other things. Once you have attention, there are so many things you can do with it. That's what sponsored ads are really all about. So, but if you don't have that attention, there's little or nothing you can do as a content creator. So I feel there are so many things you can monetize, but focus on getting attention, then you can choose where you want to make your money from.
Thank you for that, Dimeji. That's actually quite detailed. Attention. There's good and then there's the bad attention. But it's good that we all strive to be on the neck of good PR, because people say there's nothing like bad PR, but there is bad PR. So and in getting attention, let's the way and manner which you get it. So for even Dimeji mentioned also about the product, basically knowledge, monetizing your knowledge. I know Twitter has this function called subscriptions. Basically, if you subscribe to a person, you get to see the person's thought, the person's key thought on a particular opinion, and that I think is $1 per every subscription, so stuff like that. So if you have the attention, people know you as a key thought leader on a certain subject, then why not? People will pay subscription fee to see your opinion or to read your opinion on a certain subject. Nina, sorry for taking time. Please, next question. Hello, Nina.
Okay. Thread has come now. What should we be doing with Thread?
Traders. Okay. Before I think I saw something like this on Dimeji's Instagram story. So I'm pushing Dimeji to the guillotine at this point. So Dimeji, what do you think about Thread?
The way I feel, what I feel about Thread is it's still in the development stage. Is one thing I see. This is okay. So this is going to come based on my own personal approach to content. So it is not a rule of thumb. It's not a law or anything like that. But now Thread is a very new product. Everybody is jumping on the hype of Thread. Everybody is using it to catch crews or to do whatever it is that they want to do. Now, at a time like this, it is very tempting for people to say, oh, let me bring the strategies I use on Instagram to Thread. And, I see a lot of thought leaders saying, oh, 5 ways to go on Thread in the next 24 hours, or 7 ways to do this, or 10 ways to capitalize on this and that. And the thing is, that's not what you have to read the room at times like this. I feel like, yes, you will still get attention for saying that, but currently, Thread is too new for anybody to truly say this is how to do this. Thread is too new for anybody to be too interested in that kind of content. Right now, everybody is just having fun with it. Everybody is just talking and being free on it and exploring what they can say on Thread. So I feel like what you want to be doing on Thread now is experimenting. Just go wild and explore the boundaries of whatever it is you offer in your regular content. In fact, if there are things that you've been too scared to post on your main page or your personal page or whatever like that, Thread is the place to dump it. Thread will accept anything. Currently, Thread's engagement rate is very good. Thread is taking your followers from Instagram and putting it on their platform. So if you post something, people will see it, and people are not currently in a state where they are taking the platform too seriously. So if you're posting on Thread, try to exhaust all your experimentations. Say what you want to say within reason, of course. Do the things you want to do that you feel scared to do, and just see how you can push the borders. Where does it stop? What do people like? What exactly works on this app? And then you can now start to say, oh, from that, this is, again, trial and error. From that, this is the thing that works. This doesn't work. Because one thing I've learned very, very strongly is that the way one platform works, no matter how similar it is to another platform, will not be the same way that another platform works. The way you have to grow on YouTube will be very different from the way you have to grow on IG Reels. Will be different from the way you have to grow on TikTok. Every time I've entered a new platform, I've had to kind of take time to relearn everything a bit. So the beginning of that is always drastic experimentation. Again, like I said, when I started in 2020, I was just saying anything that I felt the need to say at the time, until I slowly started to gain clarity and narrow it down to what worked. So for Thread now, just explore, and slowly and gradually you will gain clarity on, okay, what works, what doesn't work. And then from there, you can now start being serious. You can now have a structure. But for now, there is no structure. Just have fun. I feel that's my own personal bias.
Thank you, Dimeji. Jennifer, please, you want to say something?
Okay. It's obvious that Thread is still at its development stage. I think he literally mentioned everything. It's okay if we don't have it all figured out, because we're not owners of the app, we're just tenants living there. So everybody is still trying to know what this app is about, although it has a lot of similarities with Twitter. And like he said, no matter how similar they look, all apps can never be the same. Do you understand? So for me, I feel like everybody for now is just catching cruise on the app, and then that's fine. Well, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't still be intentional about some things you put out there, things you say, because if it's something I know, the internet never forgets. What you posted in the last 5 years, they will still dig it up for you. So in as much as you're catching cruise, yes, for me, I would always say we should also still be intentional about things you put out there, and also try to figure the app out. Learn from other people too, and then that's it. I'm fine with it.
All right, thank you. Thank you for that. Nina, last question, please, for today. I'll wrap it up.
Okay, for someone who wants to start content creation, like videos, what platform should I start with? This is from Amara.
Like videos. Okay, I have my opinion on that. Okay, Jennifer, can you go ahead?
Okay, and this is not my first time getting questions like this, but I would recommend TikTok. The reason why I would recommend TikTok is because it's easier to grow on TikTok than other platforms, at least for now. And I mean, Thread is here already. That's another platform to also work on to grow. But when I say TikTok, I don't mean that when you shoot content, you're shooting content specifically for TikTok. To me, no content is a waste. Whatever you're posting on TikTok, put it out on Instagram to put it out on Facebook to put it out on YouTube Reels too, or YouTube itself. Do you understand? So to me, no content is a waste. In as much as you're trying to grow on TikTok. To me, I just feel like as any content you're putting out on TikTok, put it out on other platforms too, and then just be very consistent with it. Just be very consistent with what you're doing. Creative. Unlearn, relearn, learn, adjust, readjust, and then you keep growing.
All right, thank you. Thanks for that. Dimeji, what about you? What do you feel?
She has already said how I feel. I would have recommended TikTok too, because TikTok, I like to say, can take anything in quotes. It's like TikTok is a more flexible app. There are things that you can easily just do in 5 seconds, post on TikTok. Before you know it, 10,000 views, 20,000 views. I played X and O on TikTok and got 200,000 views. How? Like, TikTok can take anything. TikTok can take a lot of things that Reels might not necessarily accept or might be more strict on, because there's also Instagram. Also, TikTok is designated video. Instagram has a lot of other functionality to it. So also, like she said, there's nothing that is a waste. If you're posting something on TikTok, post it on Reels as well. Post it on YouTube Shorts as well. And you can post it on Thread now as well. And having a large pool, you now start to see, oh, this thing that you thought would do well on TikTok actually is blowing up on Reels. Who would have thought? Because at the end of the day, I feel like nobody really knows. We are just trying. We are just putting things out and seeing how the platforms react to them and trying different things at the end of the day. So yeah, just post on different platforms and see what happens. But TikTok is a good first.
All right, thank you, Dimeji. I also believe that TikTok, I believe that's where, even because I had like an intern also, she, from being a regular person at the office, she just opened TikTok one day, and the next thing I saw that my intern overnight had 800 and something thousand followers. It's like, I was stunned, honestly, but I was like, oh, okay, TikTok actually works. I think that was what motivated me to have like a TikTok account, because I thought it was like for the youngsters and all this type of stuff, or the Gen Z people. But it's actually very receptive towards videos, and I think maybe Instagram Reels, because Instagram tries to push their reels to everyone's faces nowadays. There's always that in your face. So thank you everyone for coming to the SOAR Series content creation edition. It has been really nice. I believe that we've all learned a thing or two from our wonderful hosts, like Dimeji and Jennifer. Thank you also for for being here. You guys are wonderful, sharing your thoughts and your ideas and your opinions. It has been really great. I'll be handing over to Nina to end this session. Nina, please take over.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you've learned something great from our amazing speakers. And thank you very much, Raymond, for the wonderful moderation. We appreciate that. So our next session is next week, Thursday, and be on photography and makeup. So please bring your friends, bring your eagles, and let's learn more about how to build ourselves in the creative space. Thank you, our President Kemi, for showing up. Thank you, Eagles, for coming, and God bless you all.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.